Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this EFIM Early Career Group webinar organized in collaboration with the Telemedicine Innovative Technologies and Digital Health Working Group. Our session today is about training doctors in digital therapeutics, skills of the future medicine, focuses on one of the most dynamic transformation in healthcare. I'm very honored to co-moderate this session with Filomena Pietrantonio, a highly respected internist and an influencer leader within the European internal medicine community. Before we start, I'd like also to mention that you can submit your questions at any time during the webinar. We'll collect all questions related to each of the three presentations, and we will address them together, most probably in the end of the webinar in about 1 hour. So now, hello, Ismael. It is a pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Ismael Said. He is an internist whose work sits at the intersection of clinical care, digital health, and healthcare innovation. Dr. Said is trained in internal medicine at the Hospital Ramon y Cajal in Madrid and holds a master's degree in clinical management and medical leadership. And very important, within the European Federation of Internal Medicine, he is now the coordinator of the working group on telemedicine, innovative technology, and digital health. And he is also fellow EFIM. So please, Ismael.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. I would like also to welcome Filomena Pietrantonio and Enes Erul and Juan Mora that are going to be my partners for this presentation, because I think we need to know more about digital skills, and we need to know more how to use AI in our clinical fields. So let's try. I think we can listen to Filomena just to say some words.
Okay, thank you very much, Ismael and Alina. I am very happy to be here and in this session, because I think it's very important. We are very syntonic with Ismael that we need to talk about digital medicine and new tools, artificial intelligence, and really we are doing this because with the working group, we just released our position paper on artificial intelligence. It was just published, and it was a big effort of our working group, and I'm very, very happy that at the end we succeed, because it's very important. I think it's the only position paper about the use of artificial intelligence in internal medicine. So I think it's really very important for us, for our group, and for EFIM to be present with other doctors about the use of these tools in our job. And I was at lesson with the new doctors in Italy today, and I saw that they are really very interested in all digital medicine. So I think, and one of my students will be also here in the seminar. She wanted to follow this seminar because he said, I want to learn more about that. So I think it's a very, very good idea. It's a good initiative, and I thank you very much to be here. Thank you very much.
So, if you agree, Alina, I can begin my first presentation. Let's see. Can you hear the screen? Can you see the screen? Yes?
Yes.
So, yes, what I would like to talk in this some minutes, it's about digital competencies for the use of digital therapeutics. I'm introducing these different concepts because I think internists and subspecialists should learn more about how it's going to impact the digital world in our fields of work. So first of all, I would like to say that I'm working in Pontevedra, in the northwest of Spain, now in the palliative care unit, but also inside the internal medicine department. But as Alina said, I'm working in the working group of EFIM about telemedicine and e-health. First of all, I would like to talk a bit about digital competence. What is a competence? You know that competence for medical education, it's a combination of knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes. And the definition we have from the WHO about digital competence is like it's the safe, critical, and responsible use of digital technologies for work, social participation, communication, and learning. That is considered human capital that requires lifelong learning, so that's why we are here. And it should applicate theoretical, technological, and methodological knowledge to solve health problems by integrating digital technology. So the point of this is to understand that we have to develop training on digital competence to leverage all the possibilities the technology gives us. And the main thing we have to learn about digital world is that looking at this W pyramid, that it's the talk about the differences between knowledge, information, and data. We have to understand that in digital world, we need to transform information to data. We physicians like to think to make decisions on the information we have from the patient. But now, if we want to integrate in the process, in the clinical process, the use of new technologies, we have to transform the information we have in our heads into data. And this is something not so easy to understand at the beginning. So if we make a big profile of what physicians should learn for the next era of working in medicine, we should know that we have to have a good ability to filter digital evidence and guide the patients through information that it's available in internet, for example, that it's called e-health literacy. We should behave in a different way that we use during the presential encounter, so that it's called digital behavior. So we have to have the empathy to learn how to communicate beyond the screens and trying to understand the possibilities that the remote telemedicine can help us, give us. But we have to learn how to choose the best moment to use it. Not always, because you know that always we have we need the physical examination for our patients, and this is not possible in a remote encounter. And also we should be very concerned about ethics on the use on the cyber security, the data, privacy, and the biases that AI can show during the our clinical work. And another concept that I want to show you is about digital therapeutics. What is that? Digital therapeutics are those interventions, therapeutic interventions that are evidence-based and are high quality, that's high quality software that prevent, manage, and treat medical disorders. So that's the differences between wellness apps, which are designed for passive monitoring, for example, and they don't need to be regulated, and other softwares that are treated like drugs. So they require clinical trials and regulation. So now in Europe, we have Germany, who has their own regulation that is very developed, and we are learning from them. But places from, for example, Spain or Italy, we don't have this kind of regulation, and we need them. We need them just to understand how to pay for this software, for this service, and how to integrate it in the clinical workflow. So the principles of this digital therapeutics are that should be evidence-based, which means that needs research to accept them in the clinical workflow. They are going to be very personalized to the patient because they are going to be data-driven. And it's also very important that they are very well designed for the user. It's very important that an app that we are prescribing, it's the right one to not be blocked by all the barriers that can be during the use of the mobile phones, for example. The other principles are interoperability, privacy, security, regularity, compliance, and all these things has to be taken on account just to avoid problems on the prescription of the software. In this prescription cycle, it's like acquiring new pharmacological drugs. The same, but in software. We need validation, like CE marking, data security compliance, and well, the clinical appraisal of clinical studies. We have to prescribe it, just to know how to prescribe it to the patient, but also how to help to set up the applications or the devices to our patients, and managing the expectations. It's very important to help the patient not to have so many expectations that they are not real from the results of the use of these medical devices. And it also needs to be monitored by interpreting dashboards and adjusting the therapy depending on the data that we have from these devices. So the benefits will be improved accessibility, increase the patient engagement, and encounter most cost-effective monitoring, enhance data collection, empowering patients to have a better performance of their use of other therapeutics, and also integration with other healthcare services, because we will have data that we can share between healthcare services. So this is something that has been studied for very long, from 2011, and this figure is from until 2022. But of course, there are so many different products in the market now that we can use, and depending on the country you are, you will have the opportunity to reimburse the use of these products, this software, to prescribe it to the patients from the budget of the healthcare system, of course. So I will show you some case studies that we can discuss together. For example, this case of insomnia. Now it's very well understood that digital cognitive behavioral therapy is the right way of trying to make to confront the insomnia, to treat insomnia of the patients. That should be the first line of treatment by the guidelines nowadays. But we have to learn how to prescribe it, how to show and to teach the patient how to use it. It's not just an app to monitor the sleep. They have to understand that it's a treatment, and the way the doctors are prescribing and monitoring the adherence of this kind of services, they will use it more, and we can get the right outcomes, the right medical outcomes that we are looking for. Another case of a study, as you know, is type 2 diabetes, which could be an app that are connected with glucometer of the patient, and also with a photo-assisted food logging that can count the calories, or integration to different devices, or given the feedback to the patient, just to keep doing the right thing with the use of insulin, for example, the notification. So by now we have to understand the concept of this data-driven decision making, that it will be very important for our performance, because we will have so much data from our patients that will have to be integrated to the workflow. But of course, this data, it's not going to be all understood by manually. There has to be supported by AI or big data analysis that can help us to make better decisions, clinical decisions. So, and in this point, internists are very into they have a very important role in the data quality. Why? Because we like very much working on the electronic health record, and now this electronic health record is not going to be this passive repository where we write a lot of free text. It's going to be a knowledge source, because they're going to have structured data, and we have to learn how to manage this data. This concept of data stewardship is about managing in the right time and in the right way the data we have from the patient. So structured documentation is vital. For example, learning this technology that reads the free text is very useful to transform the free text into structured data. And as you know, this lemma of AI algorithm, that every garbage in, it's garbage out. If you don't filter the data you are entering the algorithm, you will have bad decisions. And also, we have to focus on the clinical decision support systems, that they're going to be very important for us, because by now we just use our brain to make decisions. But in the era of AI, we have new tools to make better diagnosis. So it's going to behave like a cognitive safety net for us, that help us to make complex diagnosis and better treatment of our patients. And the competence here will be to discriminate those alerts from the medical devices, softwares that made a lot of fatigue of notifications. Now we have to learn how to manage with these notifications and alerts in order to have the best performance of the software. So benefits, of course, we're going to improve patient care. We hope so. We will have greater efficiency in the healthcare management. We will facilitate very much the research that we make, because we can reuse the same data we use for the clinical assistance. We can use it for research, and it will be easy to collaborate between institutions by the interoperability of the systems. And if you go to the bibliography and you look for which are the framework for using digital therapeutics, which are the competencies that every physician should have, well, this is what evidence say. We have to be very good at digital and technology literacy. We should learn about regulations. We have to learn about communication, how to support the patient needs for the use of these technologies. We have to be aware of ethics and data management, and we should be open to innovation and trust in digital tools for integrated in the workflow. And never forget that we have other competencies that we have to enhance with the new digital tools. So it's not about replace our performance, it's to empower it. So remember that we have to work in interprofessional teams. We should be the liaison between the clinicians and the data scientists. So we should ensure that digital tools supports and facilitate information across specialties. We should focus on quality of care and patient safety. And it would be nice that with new technologies, we can afford to have better, also less medical errors, adverse events. We should focus on value-based healthcare, and we will have so many new ways of addressing these important points of quality of care, thanks on the new technologies. We will have a clinical management efficiency if we know how to make interoperable all the data and avoid to duplicate tests or optimize the resources that we have. And it's important to understand that with data-driven decisions, we can shorten waiting lists and prioritize those complex cases effectively. And of course, communication will be better with the patient. The doctor-patient relationship will be better. And now we can think or make this shared decision-making in a better way with new material. We can develop our own material to make understand the patient what's going on with their diseases and make a shared decision with them. And we have to learn how to communicate in the best way remotely, but also in the different ways that we have available for in our performance. So this is what I wanted to say. I think it's a very huge field of knowledge that we have to learn together. But by now, it would be interesting if we listen to Juan Mora that can help us to understand how this is going to be in practice.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was really very interesting, the presentation. And for me, it's very interesting to follow this kind of session, because we really can learn something that can be used in our profession, and also we can teach other people about that and have new informations and very practical information. So I thank you very much, Ismael, for your presentation. And now it's a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Juan Mora Delgado, that is a doctor in internal medicine and palliative care, clinical management in Hospital Universitario de Jerez de la Frontera, Spain. I don't know if it was correct the pronunciation. Anyway, I know the doctor is really very is a researcher, very engaged in the research. He became a reference point in the integration of the artificial intelligence into clinical research and scientific communication. Working hard on these topics, and he published a lot of articles and about the application in health of artificial intelligence, innovative approaches on medical education, scientific communication, effective scientific communication, and integration of artificial intelligence into clinical research. So now the topic that is we will give us information is implementation of artificial intelligence to leverage clinical performance. So thank you very much, and please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Filomena. Let's share the screen. First, I want to see how this chat's going. Can you tell me in the chat how many times do you use ChatGPT? Do you use ChatGPT every day, every week? Never? Can you share it in the chat? Let's see, we have some responses. I use Gemini every day. Perfect. Any AI you use every day?
every day here also.
Almost every day, right? It's still surprising that between internal medicine specialists, still AI, I think we are a little bit behind against other specialties. I don't know exactly why, but I want to share today with you some key tools to use it in our daily basis. So we can use it, just as Ismael shared, to improve our skills and knowledge and give a better care to our patients. First tool I want to present to you is open evidence. Open evidence is, in my opinion, one of the best tools for clinical assistance in a daily basis. We just need to know a few things about its benefits, but also about its limitations, especially. We must know we are using generative AI. And what does that mean? We must be very careful about the information is shared with us. And we must look for it, especially with the references that is shared with us. So when you use any tool that brings generative AI, always check what's telling to you, because it can hallucinate. That's the word, or confabulate. And we must be very sure that we use that information appropriately. Open evidence is free right now. You only need an email to use it, and an ID, a medical ID to use it. It's supported by the Mayo Clinic platform, and it also has great alliances with New England Journal of Medicine, also JAMA, and recently with the NCCN. That's a great point for oncologists also. I want to tell you, I want to know if someone of you have right now a difficult patient, and you are not sure about the differential diagnosis and not sure about the treatment you should bring to him or her, about the follow-up. Is there any patient right now that is being a little difficult to manage for you? In the chat, someone? Or other of the panelists, if you want to participate?
I could tell, but I am oncologist. I'm not sure.
No, but I had the clinical session today about febrile neutropenia, and we were talking about the indication of piperacillin tazobactam in this when it's a febrile neutropenia, severe, like difficult. So I would like to know if it's okay to use piperacillin tazobactam in these patients of febrile neutropenia.
All right. All right, right now we just only have these few words, just as Ismael said, and we are trying to communicate a little better with the large language model that's behind open evidence. And how can we do it? Let's try something. I'm going to do in other LLM, that for example, Copilot, that we can use any LLM to do this. Just don't bring any confidential information about your patients, okay? This is essential. If you do it in open evidence, you are going to be banned always, so don't do it. So let's see how we can make this a better prompt, better instruction for the large language model. We're going to tell Copilot that write a prompt that I can use on open evidence with a role, context, objective, and output about the use of piperacillin tazobactam and febrile neutropenia, and the use of piperacillin on neutropenia. All right. So if we use this simple prompt, okay, to give a better sample, it just gave me in Spanish. Let's tell them in English. You should always try to give any LLM, any large language model, a question that has these four parts. A role, it's not the same. Any pathology, any disease is not the same for a cardiologist or for a pathologist or for a physiotherapist. You need to specify which are the role that AI must become. Also the context. Why are we doing this question? We are working right now analyzing therapeutic options for treating febrile neutropenia, for example, in cancer patients, for example. Which is the objective? The objective can be a lot of objectives, different objectives. This time we need to know the indication, recommendations, clinical guidelines, comparisons, outcomes. We must specify these objectives. And also, which output do you want? Do you want a list? Do you want a table? Do you want only a few key bullet points? You want a really good narrative revision about the topic? You need to specify how do you want the information. That's the best way to ask any question to a generative AI model. So let's try this question and let's see how the output is coming this time. All right, that right now is analyzing the query, my question I just did. And in this topic just gave me this paragraph that synthesized the main objective of my question. And here there it is. As house piperazine tazobactam is a recommended first-line empiric monotherapy for febrile neutropenia in cancer patients. It also shared me some reference that I can click, and at any point of this EC, I can click and go specifically to the guideline, to the paper that supports that affirmation the large language model Open Evidence is doing right now. This is essential, as just I told you, to check if it's correct what the tool is telling to us. You can see that since I gave how I wanted the information, it gave me that way. It gave me a very good response with a comparative efficacy and safety, outcomes, resistance and skill, risk stratification, dosing. They gave me also a table of some options in this context, guideline recommendations, and a summary. And we have all the reference over here. We can do some things with this output. We can copy to the clipboard directly. We can download it or even print it. In Open Evidence, even you can write or ask Open Evidence to give a patient some non-pharmacological recommendations based on from some guidelines, for example, and you can print it, copy, and customize with your expertise, right? Never copy and paste and directly give to the patient. Always modify and customize that. Also, you have some other options. You can do always a follow-up question. When you do the first question, you can do a follow-up. But if you are going to talk about new topic, a different topic, better start a new conversation. Don't use the same conversation you're doing before if you're talking about another topic, right? So this is the way we should use Open Evidence. And also you have a mobile app, so you can use it even on call every day. So there's no excuses almost to use Open Evidence as a tool in your daily basis. If you want some better revisions, research.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Juan.
Yes.
They are saying that chat it's not open for the attendant, and they are going to ask only through the questions and answers
All right,
module.
no problem.
So just write the questions there, okay?
Better. Okay, great. So if you want to do about a daily basis, some research about your patients, and you want to do more narrative research, you can also use Consensus. Consensus has a freemium version that's very generous. And just two things you have to notice here. First one, you have a medical filter to use Consensus. By default, it's on all, but you can pick medical. It's based on Semantic Scholar, a database that you must know is more to the open source papers, so you must acknowledge that. And this is the way how are you going to do the research. Quick research, you're going to have a summary of the 10 most relevant papers about the topic, the most 20 relevant papers, or a deep research with 50 papers. And in the right side, you have a lot of filters. It's crazy the amount of filters you have in Consensus. You want only Q1 journals, articles, you want only open access, you want specifically one methodology, the sample size of the study. This is crazy how you can even filter about the sample size of the studies. You want only to look at the research of some country or any field of study. You have a lot of filters to customize your research over here. So we can do the same example, like just we talked before, in open evidence. So you can see some difference. Let's start right now in this case about managing febrile neutropenia. We can do another prompt. Right now I'm going to tell Copilot that make a prompt for consensus to write a narrative research following PRISMA guidelines about treatment of febrile neutropenia, right? So we have now a well-structured prompt for consensus. This is the same structure as I told to you. So we can have a nice narrative research about the topic. I'm going to use the pro mode, right? Like the intermediate mode. So we can have it in a few seconds. We also in consensus we will have all the citations of the papers we are working about, and you can even download them in this part, explore results, and you can import them to your favorite bibliography application like Zotero, Mendeley, EndNote. You can import them, all the results, just from here. So that's a really fast way to do a little narrative review and import your results to Zotero, Mendeley, EndNote, any of them. And just in a few seconds, look how we have a narrative review. Of course, this is not a substitute of a classic research level, but it can be useful in a daily basis also. And look at that any of the affirmations is based on some reference over here. We can directly go to the PDF. It is open. And you can use all this information also to prepare about any patient. If you need some information about any guidelines, you can work also this way. If you have to do some clinical sessions, this is a little cheat I'm going to touch on you today. You can use apps like gamma.app, that it has a freemium version that is generous enough to paste this text, just I have here, summarize this text, and have some slides about this research I just did. So for some clinical sessions, it would be very useful for you. We can select any of them and just make some slides about it, and we can customize later those information in PowerPoint, Google Slides, or any presentation we want. So for digesting this information we just have in consensus, we can make some slides and present to our colleagues and make all the process a little faster and more efficiently, right? Always check all the information is how it's going on over here. And as I told you, when this finishes, you can export it to PowerPoint, Google Slides, and keep editing that way, right? You're not going to start from zero to this point. It's a really great tool. A lot of students are already using it for their sessions. Even for any topic, you can just go for it, right? You can export it just here, export, and you can do it to PowerPoint, for example, and keep editing over there, okay? You can do other ways to go for some research about any topic for your patients. And for example, you can do it from custom GPTs, like this one I just made, that's called Mesh Master. You can transform any question you do in a daily basis to a colleague, like just the one I asked before. I want to do a question, a research about, I want to search in PubMed only clinical trials about use of piperacillin tazobactam in febrile neutropenia in oncology patients, for example. And what's going to do this custom GPT? Is going to give us a strategy with mesh terms and Boolean links. So we have it just here. We can copy that and we can bring it to PubMed, make great research that is humanly possible to check these papers, only 26 results. So we can do in just in a few seconds a research of any topic with a strategy, with mesh and Boolean. So we can even import all those papers directly with options like Zotero. So Zotero has a extension for any like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, all them, Safari also has this connection that's called Zotero Connect that you can click just at this point, and it will import all those papers that are right now on screen. They will import all of them to my Zotero library. So there's no excuse right now to manage any kind of information on your daily basis. So you can keep up to date in any topic. Another question I want to tell you just in a few minutes is how many of you are every day looking, scrolling on PDFs that have hundreds and hundreds of pages? I'm sure that a lot of you lose a lot of time just looking in these PDFs. I'm looking for that antibiotic I need to prescribe to this patient. Where is that protocol I need to look? It's a lot of time waste. You can use Notebook LM for this. Notebook LM is a Google tool that has a freemium version, extremely generous right now, where you can create like a space where you can import those papers, those PDFs, for example, that you have in your hospital, for example, for some protocols, guidelines that you consult every day that you need to look for. I'm going to show you a quick sample. I just downloaded these guidelines for EFIM. Of course, I'm going to do an example with EFIM. And I have just these 3 articles that I just downloaded a few minutes and imported to a space here in Notebook LM. I have these 3 PDFs, and right now, just from here, I can tell, for example, how I should diagnose a pulmonary embolism in a patient with, for example, suspicion.
Non sappiamo se sia una bolla per Inter.
And just in a few seconds, we have a response just based on the PDFs we have right now over here. The LLM behind Notebook LM, that's Gemini, is not going to make the response from any source that's not on these PDFs, all right? It's going to make the response based on the PDFs I have right now. Not only I will have, sorry for it's going in Spanish because I have customized this in Spanish, but you can look to the response and see that's citing exactly from which PDF is taking the information from. And you can also see not only the PDF, where is the information, but also exactly where is the location of the responses. All right, just like here. So I can check, it's very explanatory how you can look for the information of any of these PDFs. If you are every day working in some topic that have a lot of protocols or something like that, this is a great way to keep all this information. Just an example, our residents in our hospital have all the PDFs with the emergency protocols, for example, in just a space like that. And they are shared all with them, so they can search any protocol just in a few seconds in their mobile phone, because also Notebook LM has a mobile phone application, and you can have responses very fast, citing the document and also exactly where is the information in that PDF. So it's a great way to manage information. Also, it's free. I'm showing you all tools that are free. And the last one I want to show you is this one. This one I think is great. Ismael talks about micro innovation, and I'm really synchronized with that. We need to start to look some work we do every day, manually work that wastes a lot of time, and we can at least try to digitalize in some part that process. Cloud is a great tool that will bring us this PDF, right? This is the F-word sleepiness scale. I'm sure many of you know about it. This is an example of PDF that you could print it. For example, the nurse or the doctor will check manually. No, it gave the punctuation and calculate the total. No, so let's see if it has a sleep disorder or not. We can make just a micro application that we can use it in our hospital, in local. We don't need any internet to use it. Let's show you. I'm going to show you how. Make an HTML. This is the key. I'm going to tell you why. App about this questionnaire. So it calculates and also gives me a space to copy the result to the patient's history. Just a very easy prompt. Why HTML? HTML is just the way any web page that you visit every day is the language they have. So right now, Claude is making an app in this way, HTML, that it can be opened by any like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge. I don't care, anyone can open this HTML app, and it has only a few kilobytes, a few bytes, so it can be even sent through an email, and can be also imported to any domain, local domain of any hospital. So you can share the app with other colleagues. Just a big disclaimer here, you must test the tool really, really deep. So there's not any failures in it before using it with patients. You must be very sure that the app works well. Always try to do very little use case, right? Because if you do a big app, you are going to fail almost for sure. So just in a few seconds, we are going to have the app. It's doing it in Spanish right now because the original PDF, it was in Spanish. We could translate it to English later. Just going to show you the example. Just in a minute, yes, it's finishing right now. We will have the F-word sleepiness scale just available for us. So let's check it out. Let's see if it done it well or not.
Sorry
Right,
for the interruption.
Yes.
Why it was Claude, right? Some of the audience asked for what's the application short. Right now we are using Claude.
Right now we're using Claude. That you can do this also in ChatGPT. There's no problem. Any large language model that has enough capacity to programming. But Claude, in my opinion, is the best one right now for this topic. Sorry, it's in Spanish. We can translate it in English, but you have all the spaces to put the name of the patient, their age, gender. We have even a calendar over here, just in a few seconds. And these are the instructions, and we have the F-word text. Do you sleep? Do you fall asleep when you see the TV? When you're sit in a theater, in your car, speaking to someone after the meal, and you have the point, so you can calculate the punctuation or restart the test. You can also have another way to use this. You can download it over here. You just download it, and let's see if I can show you also from here. So that way you can use any app in your hospital for any manual process you do every day, right? You can see right now in the screen, for the example, we'll just live the results. So it just do the calculation, the result in this case that the patient looks like it has a sleep disorder, and there it is. This is the notes that I can just copy to the patient story, and you can do this everything locally. You don't need to use internet for this, right? So those were a few examples that you can use AI in your daily basis. Just a reminder, Open Evidence, great one for some assistance in clinical differential diagnosis, treatment, follow-up. Consensus for a little more extensive, deep research. You can also use some custom GPTs to do those research. Notebook LM, if you have a lot of PDFs that you look for information every day, hundreds of PDFs. And if you want to do some micro applications, HTML apps are a great way to do that micro innovation. Thank you very much, and how this helped you.
Thank you very much, Juan, for this very, very interesting and impressive presentation. And a very practical presentation also. Your approach makes the use of AI very simple and efficient because probably you are very trained, so we should be trained also. I didn't know about Mesh Master or Notebook LM. It sounds very, very well. I'm also sure that we'll have questions in the final part of the webinar dedicated to discussions. And now I'm very pleased to introduce Dr. Enes Erul. He is both certified in medical oncology and trained in internal medicine. He's member of the early career group of EFIM, and he has a career dedicated to precision oncology, biomarker-driven therapies, AI-supported decision making. He serves on editorial. He serves on the editorial board of PLOS ONE. In addition, he contributes to the strategy working group of the College of the European School of Oncology. I hope I'm right. And he was recently awarded with ASCO, the American Society of Clinical Oncology IDEA distinction, an international development and education award. So we are very delighted to have him with us today with the presentation about the patient side, perception and concern about AI and digital therapeutics.
Thank you so much, Alina, for this perfect introduction. Just let me a few minutes. Did you see my screen right now?
Yes, it's okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much for this kind introduction. I am Enes Erul from Ankara University Cancer Research Institute. I have no disclosure. Just I want to briefly mention about myself because maybe audience could think about why there is an oncologist in internal medicine webinar. In Turkey, it is a little bit different from Europe. We need to first finish internal medicine residency to start oncology thereafter as a subspecialty. So one of my best opportunity when I was internal medicine was attending summer school, and then I really get lots of lifelong friendship with Alfredo and Mario, who is right now is professor at their universities. And this is not only about friendship, also we make some really academic collaboration and which bring internal medicine and oncology, and published at least the last year like 3 papers in Q1 journal, which is actually is not important, but the friendship which lifelong lasting is really amazing. So in my email, I just saw that there is one winter school is coming very near soon. So if there is anyone who is in their career, in early career, please apply. It could be really expand your perspective. So in AI, what we are thinking as a physician to better treat our patients, also decrease uncertainty. This is important. And also we really dream that we could spare some time. Also, we really expect decrease of administrative burden. We are expecting foster areas and also deep control. So the use of artificial intelligence in oncology is really extremely rapid. Right now, we are using it for risk assessments and cancer prevention for skin cancer, breast cancer, and also we are using it specifically for diagnosis, for pathologic assessment of the biopsy, for grading, cancers, subtyping, and biomarker detection. This is specifically important because it helps address shortage of specialists and also heavy workloads by pathologists. And also we start to use right now for radiology and imaging, which AI supports early detection with also decision support system. And another one specifically important for oncology. In oncology, we are always in the treatment decision. We are looking for, is there any new clinical trial? For new clinical trial to look for the eligibility of the patients is really very long time because you are screening maybe 100 of papers. But in AI, actually, with natural language processing, help match patients more accurate and more efficiently, and also improving access for patients. And also for prognosis evaluation, as an oncologist, we tend to make more optimistic or sometimes more pessimistic prediction. But for AI, which if we put all the information of the patients about imaging, pathology, labs, offer more accurate prognostic insights, better than us, actually. And another study, maybe I didn't look for, I couldn't find in internal medicine, but in oncology, there are some studies which look for board exam and also comparing with the ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence. And really the results is really, even in the complex case, not I am talking about like just you are preferring one selection, but just complex case, even in that complex case, AI is really very successful. So right now it is not like forward future, but it is happening right now. I mean, we are using in screening imaging, we are using in multi-tumor board, also prognostication. And the thing is, we are not aware, but in FDA, there are like more than 1,000 AI tools have been approved right now. But maybe we don't know, for example, I don't know really how much of them I could really use, how much of them I could understand, or how much of them I trust. But right now, in early 2025, more than 1,000 AI tools have been approved. And this is a paper from last year. I really like this term, the rise of agentic AI teammates in medicine. So it's saying that even powerful medical AI foundation models today remain tools that depend on all users to provide input and context. But this is also maybe will change, and maybe it could be our teammates, not only the device which we would use. But also there is lots of conspiracy theories, which even in the Guardian and also in other Telegraph, which also our patients reading as a title of these papers about how AI could really go wrong. And also this published 5 days ago, and they just I'm not so good at all the details, but what I understood from the context, they are using AI for cyber attack to reach the institutional data. So the thing is, patients are neither blindly optimistic nor technophobic, but they most of them see clear benefits of AI, but hold serious rational concerns about the safety, privacy, depersonalization, and equity. So why we should focus on patients' perspective? AI are entering routine care. It is right now, but social acceptance, even from the physicians, lags behind technical performance. And poor alignment with the patient values can reduce uptake, adherence, and trust, even when tools are effective. And lots of the surveys right now show that a low trust in their health system to use AI responsibly. So there is an ambivalence, optimism about capabilities, but also anxiety about the consequences of AI. Lots of scoping reviews show that patients acknowledge potential benefits, but also express substantial concerns. And knowledge of the AI is often limited. Many of our patients are unaware that AI is already used in imaging and triage. So this is published 3 years ago in JAMA Internal Medicine as a letter. So they make a basic survey what patients perceive from AI, what is their comfort with AI and what are their concerns. And we actually, one of the best advantage of being internist and also oncologist, I would like to do the same survey specifically for cancer patients. So we make a survey with 363 patients, and we scale about perception, how they will think about, will AI improve the health system in Turkey, or are they, this is for perception scale. And the other question is it important for them to know that AI involvement in their treatment, in their decision? And for comfort scale, are they comfort with, are they comfort with AI performing clinical tasks like reading chest X-ray, diagnosing cancer, pneumonia, choosing antibiotics? And also we made third scale as a concern scale. What is their worries about? It is confidentiality, misdiagnosis, or maybe reduced doctor interaction, or increased cost. The general perception, half of them AI will improve or somewhat improve cancer care. But this is interesting. Actually, one of the demographic characters is really play much important about concern and about the perception. It is about education level. The lower education correlates with higher discomfort. But if the patients from like universities, if they really have health literacy, they are more comfortable and more optimistic about the AI. And for discomfort, almost half of the patients uncomfortable with receiving AI-led diagnosis, even if the diagnosis is like 90 or 98 accuracy. So it's not about accuracy. So the question is for this question is, how comfortable would you be receiving a diagnosis from a computer program that made the right diagnosis 98%, but couldn't explain why it made the diagnosis? So which we could interpret from that, if you couldn't express your clinical reasoning, it's even if it is the right high accuracy, the patient is not very comfortable. So we make a model, statistical model, to evaluate age, gender, education, income. Is there any relationship like with comfort and concern? So what we found that education level is actually the only factor for this perception. So most of the patients uncomfortable with AI also more likely express concern about data privacy, diagnostic errors, and one in 5 patients worried about privacy breach. In 1 in 3 concerned about AI making incorrect diagnosis. So this is our summary of our survey for specifically how patients think about this. So the black box issue is actually about AI prediction lacks explanatory rationale. So still patients wants to get empathy, presence of their physicians, and to provide reasoning which will trust. So human factors extremely important. So it is really important about communication, empathy, shared decision making are viewed as a irreplaceable both patients and physicians. So for the discussions, there is one paper that to questions like if we make a mistake with the AI, who is the responsible for that? So many of the survey attendants think that we should hold physicians responsible for AI errors, but we don't have any malpractical guidelines for this one. And also legal frameworks lag behind AI deployment. The barrier is infrastructure limitations and affordability of the AI tools. I mean, we should make accessible by all the countries to better increase the public health and also data security. I mean, it is vulnerable to hacking and manipulation of the deep learning outputs. So yesterday, European Cancer Organization make a position paper about opportunities, challenges, and policy recommendations like about these issues. So these are the last slides. So of course, AI hold promise. I use every day. It improves accuracy, precision, quality of care, accessibility, time saving, efficiency. and personalization, but there is also risk about privacy, data security, trust, and also patient autonomy, loss of human connection, and depersonalization. So we need systematic factors, we need some regulatory issues to overcome these barriers. And also we should keep in mind that medical decisions is not conclusion from the biologic process. Medical decisions are value-based, so values can often only be explored through the dialogue. We need to address personal circumstances of patients in their biographical context, so no fully automated decision-making should be made. Also, I think like Ismail's position paper in ESMO, European Society of Medical Oncology, have some guidelines how we should use AI, large language model, and how also patients should use this one. Like for patients, do phrase your questions clearly so AI can provide accurate information. Do keep an open dialogue with your doctor about any suggestions offered by the AI. Don't treat AI as a replacement for in-person consultation if you feel really unwell. Don't share personal identifiable or sensitive health data. So don't allow chatbot outputs to override recommendations from your physicians. And also for physicians, this is also a recommendation from the ESMO. Do verify all AI suggested information by using guidelines, as we talked previously. Do maintain human oversight, particularly for critical clinical decisions. Do use language model to reduce paperwork. Do inform patients when AI systems are involved in their care. I am not sure we are doing it. Don't delegate final responsibility for patients' communication, treatment plans, or diagnosis. Don't assume that AI outputs are automatically correct or unbiased. Apply clinical judgment. So lastly, don't let AI-generated suggestions overshadow direct communication with patients and colleagues. So the question is always we debate about the AI, will AI replace doctors? Actually, AI won't replace internists, but internists who use AI wisely may replace those who don't. So again, thank you for Alina for this opportunity to be in here. It's very privileged.
I thank you very much for agreeing to be here. Really, honestly, it was hard to make Enes Erul come because he was very busy, as everybody here. So I thank you very much. And it was one question about how the ones that attending the webinar could see the registration. Actually, the EFIM has a page where all the video. Oh, perfectly. Yes. Okay, so here this webinar will be listed also on the can be seen once again, can be watched once again.
I think that was all the presentation were very interesting, and I liked very much all the three speakers, and also because it was very a practical session. So it's I appreciate very much Juan Mora Delgado because it show us how to use really the tools. So I think tomorrow I will do it myself to see if it's they're working. And I don't know if there are questions that we can try to answer.
There's one question in Spanish from Jorge Torres, who is about the personalization of LLMs for doctors. If it's for Juan, if you see it like it's important to adapt the LLMs for the clinical workflow, and also if it should be placed in local systems, the LLMs, and so they can be connected to the clinical electronic health records.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the future must be local because if not, cloud, I think is very risky long term. Cloud always means risk. Even if it's very low, always mean risk. We already saw it in many occasions. Just 2 days ago, Cloudflare went down, and almost anything in internet went down. ChatGPT, Cloud, everything, every tool. So we must be very careful, and local LLMs should be the future. Not only LLMs, every tool should be local, but also the logistical issues, cost issues are there. A lot of differences. Even in Spain, for example, we have a lot of different applications, different tools just from a few kilometers ago, and it's really difficult. We need to integrate. We need some big alliance, so we can do this. If not, if we are not in the same page, in the same path, we are not going to be successful in this point.
Another question, can we use AI for writing an article? How we make sure there's no plagiarism?
Right, this question is very often. Someone just told me the one time, which percentage do you think is okay and a paper is written with AI? Which percentage? And I told non-percentage. Why non-percentage is acceptable? Because we are not talking about a percentage right here. We are talking about a philosophy of how we use AI as an assistant doing all the methodology. We need the clinical expertise. We need the methodology expertise to write an article, do the research. But we can use AI just to boost all that process. So use AI always as an assistant in the process. Always mention you use AI in your papers. Almost every editorial already just tell you how do you use AI in your paper. Just be transparent. You talk about it because everyone will know about it. And just the philosophy that don't cross your arms. All right, let's just the AI do everything. Absolutely not. That's not the way. So use it as an assistant. And do the good practice. We always know always check the reference, cite it correctly in your papers. Everything is going to be well.
I have another commentary about what Enes Erul said about telling the patients that we are using AI. And it's I would like to give the example of the computers. We are not telling the patient that we are always using a computer to develop our daily work. So I think even if we are now in a transition and we are learning how to use these tools, AI will be considered as an infrastructure, and so it's going to be everywhere, and everyone is going to use it. And even if now it's quite bizarre, difficult to understand that a doctor can use it, but in 1 year, everyone will understand that we use it. And if you have the concern, you can put a paper in your consultation room just saying that you are using AI, and that's enough because we don't need to tell everyone that we are using it. Of course, maybe in the next future, they will ask to use it compulsory, because if not, quality is not so good. So if a doctor don't use the AI, his decision making will be with low quality. So I think in next years we will be arguing that it's like compulsory to use these kind of tools in our daily work.
But here I was wondering because Juan showed us open evidence, and 1 year ago I heard about open evidence for Ismael. And however, so it is about medical information, and you have at the end all the references. But how do you know that are the good references, like the last one or the European one? I mean, how do you know that he had the good references finally?
Yeah, that's a great question, since the use of LLMs, when we use it for looking for information in a scientific way, you cannot be sure 100% the references are the best always. Even though you can do the same question 2 times to open evidence, and it's not going to be the same response
Exactly.
those 2 times. Only if even you don't change anything. We must know that That's where a clinical expertise come from. The best use of open evidence, for example, comes from the clinicians that you have a great experience and great knowledge about what they're talking about. So that's the best way we can work with AI. How I make sure, could we make almost sure that those are good reference? Well, the only way we must check it the traditional way. We must read the paper. You can use other tools like NotebookLM, as we saw, but you must always do not do the leap of faith. I just call that way, leap of faith. I mean, okay, open evidence just told me put 3 milligrams of atropine in this patient, let's do it. Oh, of course not, never do it, right? Because the responsibility is on you, not on the AI.
But if you really know the answer, do you ask? I mean, do you search? I
should. Yeah.
It's very hard to see the limits and to understand. I'm not so sure. Maybe he's wrong. I have this feeling. I think I use it every day. Something I use every day, every hour. I'm depending, but I think it's also like a trap in this moment because it's very difficult to make the difference to know. I'm sure it's okay. So finally, I remain always on what I really know. But I try to have more ideas what I should do for differential diagnosis or something to have new ideas. And
But
the way
I think
you showed us how to use it was really impressive. I mean, I think I'm not trained enough. My feeling today it was that actually I have this limitation because I'm not trained enough.
I think that you should use it as a learning tool. So you open new fields of knowledge when you ask to these LLMs. Then you go to the book and look for it, because you always have a lot of material, a lot of places to learn, and you never should shut down the book. You should learn from up to date, or you should learn from talking to your colleagues. This is not the point. The point is that you have another very powerful tool to use also. And also you have to learn from Juan that there are many different tools. So if you don't trust on open evidence at all, too much, then go to Consensus. If not, go to Elicit. And if not, go to Gemini Pro, and so on. You can mix, and you will in very next future you will have agents, AI agents, and they will give us different experience, user experience. So this is going to develop. It's developing very quickly. I think you have to ask Juan to come again next year, because he will change a lot what
Yes.
it's going to be. But as it's beginning, all this transition, this transformation, we have to be ready to learn.
And it was what you said, Ismael, it was that AI is a very good tool. And for me, I think it should be like this, a very good tool. But it was the talking about helping in an article writing. And I saw that discussion of ethicals are now that AI should be author also. I mean, we should have authorship for, do you agree with this? Or, I mean, my feeling is that it should remain as a tool. I mean, a co-pilot for a human being. But I saw that, and I'm really scared about these new trends, is that he is recognized as an entity with his own authorship and so on. What do you think?
Yeah, if you can use, I will say this, you can use a knife two ways. You can prepare a meal, or you can use it so for bad things. AI is exactly the same. It's just a tool. If you use it bad, you will have bad outcomes. If you use it right as a copilot, as an assistant, just you told, it will go well. About also the consent we just talked, I think you must be aware that patients are starting to use a lot of AI also. And a lot of patients are starting to come to visiting us with AI, just perplexity told me this, differential diagnosis, please check all of this. All right, how do you tell the patient the limitations AI helps, especially when you're not a clinician. That's a big discussion, and we must be prepared for it. Yeah, I know we are very scared about how this is going to evolve, but I think we must be open-minded. I mean, we cannot stop this, but we can be a partner of this path, so we are not out of the process. If we are out of the process and we are not open-minded enough, if we are out of all of this, then things could be go wrong, most probably. So we must be in the process so we can give our opinions about the tools, especially medical tools. We need teammates that know about technology, about healthcare, about how to do research. We must do a big team so this goes the right way. If not, things could come bad.
I want to ask to Enes, what do you think? I think that there are people and young doctors that wants to use artificial intelligence, start using artificial intelligence in the relationship with their patient. What is your idea, your suggestion for them to start using in their clinical practice artificial intelligence in the to improve the relationship with patient? What could be some tips, something that we can tell them?
Young internists must know that if they use AI from point zero, I mean, they don't even use their brain to make a differential diagnosis, or they don't use their brain to think about how should I treat this patient. They are going they're not going to be good specialists. They are going to let the AI do all the decisions, and that's the wrong way to use AI. Right now, I think everyone is right now listening, and also the panelists, we have lived without AI before, so we are now using our clinical knowledge and also AI. But these young students, these young internists are already living in this AI stage, and they must try to always use AI as a learning process, just as Ismael said, so they enhance, they boost the way of training. For example, Notebook LM has a lot of ways to train with AI, just doing questionnaires, doing some procedures that can help you learn, like podcasts, audios, presentations. You must use AI to learn about how to be a good internist, and do not let AI do everything. This is the main message.
Okay. And what do you think, Enes?
Yeah, I will add something. So we are talking about patients are also start to ask that they are putting ChatGPT and they are asking us. I think this is not something really bad because we are trying to increase patients' health literacy. And every day, actually, they are trying to get some information in ChatGPT, which is actually it's the best way to increase the public health literacy. So we shouldn't look like it is something bad. I mean, for our patients to use ChatGPT is exactly something good for us. And secondly, I start to use specifically for oncology. So delivering some bad news, also some for prognosis, because we are dealing very complex language, medical language, which really for very difficult for our patients to understand. Sometimes I'm just giving some break to putting some ChatGPT to make it really very easy for Turkish, and then telling them, and I think it's really getting very right. And for clinical decision making in Turkey, unfortunately, we see lots of patients, maybe 30 patients in a day. So we have very limited time. Sometimes I am using it as a checklist. Even in the simple situation, I am using that one because even the easiest for brain MRI or other plan, which could miss from myself, I know that one, but I use it as a checklist to if I am missing something or not. So I definitely strong defender to use AI because it's really making easier, faster, and more accurate. But I think there should be some ethical regulation. I mean, patients should know, at least if you have a good communication, because you are putting their information, their MRI results, their demographic information. Even if you blind the identity, you are putting their private health information. So at least I think we should confess that. Let me ask for AI to better maybe clinical decision. I think they will understand. They will. I don't think that they will uncomfortable to physicians use AI.
If we have time, I would like to add to Alina's question about publishing articles using AI. That now that I'm reviewing some articles, and they normally use AI to make the translation and to write the writing and so. What we have to understand that it's in science, when you are publishing science, your objective is to give new knowledge. So you can afford it by using different tools, but the objective is to give to the scientific society new knowledge. So when you are reading something and there's no new knowledge, you can reject it, and that's all. This is our work in reviewing the articles. You are rejecting a lot of things. But if you can communicate new research, and you communicate in a very synthetic way with the helping of AI, writing it well in English, and you're doing it in the right way, and you manage to give the information you need to give, then it's right, because our objective is just to communicate new research. That's all. It's not about how you write it, if it's beautiful or not, or if you are the real author of the writing. No. In science, everything should be very easy. You make a new research, a new finding, and then you communicate to the scientific world, and that's all.
But if ChatGPT, for example, just makes synthesis of information found on internet, could you really plagiate after ChatGPT?
No, we all plagiate the ideas. This is science. We build science on ideas that we copy from others. And if you publish an article, it's because you are giving a new idea that it's not written anywhere else.
Exactly.
So what it's not good is to repeat every idea in every publication. This is not good.
Yeah.
So just try to focus on give good science to the world, and maybe we don't have to write down a lot of papers. We just have to give the right paper in the right time. And I can assure you, and maybe Juan can discuss it, that ChatGPT is not going to invent anything. It's not going to make any research. It's just a tool to review everything it's written before. If it's not written in what it's telling to you, then it's a field to make a research, because this is the place where you can develop the knowledge.
I saw an article like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was that about 90% of what is published of science articles are actually things that are already done. So my thought now, and it's my last idea for because we are very close to the end, and I'll give the word to each of you after this, is maybe we could use AI to check if our idea is a new one or it was done before, because I think it could help us to understand if we have really a very innovative or very interesting study idea, and to check if this was already done before, and to avoid having a loss of time for something that is already done. So thank you very much, and I'd like to ask each of you to say your thoughts now.
Yeah, no, the only on this argument, I think that the researchers or the authors are worried about because there are apps and there are apps that can detect the use of artificial intelligence in your article. So probably the problem could be that if there is this detection, is the percentage of use of AI is too high. This article will not, because you can write it, you use artificial intelligence to do the article, to write the article, but the percentage of the percentage of the article that was written using artificial intelligence has to be below some levels, otherwise the app will detect it and the article will not be published. So it's to avoid these problems, what we can do, because we
use
want to
use different LLMs, mix them.
I have to say that AI detector of tools are really bad right now. For just one example,
Therefore, we should write ourselves.
It's proven that the first chapter of El Quijote de la Mancha from Cervantes, most AI detection tools say that it's AI written, and it was written by Cervantes. I think Cervantes didn't have ChatGPT for writing the El Quijote. So we must be very careful about those tools right now are not very powerful. And I know some editorials talk about the percentages, but I'm not okay with that. I think just as Ismael said, and also I already said, it's the methodology. How do you use AI to improve and boost your clinical research? Just that, the philosophy.
I think one last tip. I think it could be easier if you want to make an article, but you are not sure how to start, like for contents. Like I am generally using that. For example, if I have a hypothesis, I am just putting ChatGPT what I should write as a content. I mean, it is really summarizing very well. You should, like this in discussion, you should compare with this studies, and in introduction, I mean, in the last paragraph, you should put aim, and it really puts very well template to start from somewhere. So there is no bias to use for that one, to at least to make an idea how your article or how your hypothesis could go. And also for tables, for example, if you will summarize a table, your findings in a table, and if you already know all the parameters, and if you put all the PDF on that one, I don't think there is a bias to use ChatGPT for creating that table, because it's only making it faster. But for other findings, I exactly agree with all other comments.
Okay, so I don't know if there is anything else to say, so we should finish end your webinar. Okay, so thank you all for joining us today and for contributing to a webinar that might reflect, I think, the future of internal medicine. So it was about digital therapeutics, innovation, research, and clinical efficiency. I hope this webinar inspires you to explore these areas further. Thank you once again for your participation and look forward to seeing you at the next EFIM webinar.
Thank you, Alina.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.